We sounded the emergency alarms because a human entered a 5-gravity kill zone. But instead of dying, he started jogging like it was his morning warm-up. I have been working station security for 11 cycles now, and I thought I had seen everything, every species, every peculiarity, every bizarre biological quirk the galaxy had to offer. My name is Krell, and my partner Vento and I monitor the eastern wing of the Celestial Harmony Research Station, which is frankly the most boring job in the sector. Or, it was, until the humans showed up. The morning started normal enough. Vento was sipping his nutrient solution, his 4 eyes glazed over with the particular look of someone contemplating retirement. I was running diagnostics on the gravity regulators, a task so mundane I could do it in my sleep, probably have done it in my sleep, actually. Then the alert came through. 3 human scientists were scheduled to arrive at Docking Bay 7. The message came with approximately 47 pages of safety protocols, dietary restrictions, and something called psychological accommodation requirements. I skimmed the first page, rolled my eyes at Vento, and deleted the rest. Humans, Vento muttered, not looking up from his console. Command sent another memo. Apparently they are extremely fragile. We are supposed to handle them with, and I quote, utmost caution. I laughed. Actually laughed. Fragile? Vento. They come from a Class 9 gravity world. That is only 2 classes below Draknor. How fragile can they possibly be? Vento shrugged, his scales rippling with the gesture. The memo says their bones break easily. Something about calcium deposits and hollow structures. Also, they require constant hydration, specific atmospheric pressure and temperature regulation within a narrow band. Oh, and they are prone to something called anxiety. Whatever that means. Sounds like someone in xenobiology has too much time on their hands, I said, pulling up the docking bay cameras. Look at them. They are walking just fine. 2 legs, bilateral symmetry, standard carbon-based biology. What could possibly go wrong? Famous last words, as the humans would say. What I did not know, what nobody bothered to mention in all those safety protocols I deleted, was that Section 12 of the Eastern Wing had been running Draknor standard gravity for the past 3 days, 5 times Galactic standard, and the maintenance crew had forgotten to update the warning system. Trevor Kane was the first human I actually paid attention to. Not because he was particularly remarkable looking, mind you. Average height for his species, brown hair that stuck up in odd directions, and wearing what appeared to be standard issue research attire. No, I noticed Trevor because he took a wrong turn at Junction 42 and headed straight into Section 12. Section 12. Where the gravity was still set to Draknor levels. I sat up so fast I nearly spilled my own nutrient drink. Vento, human in Section 12. Vento's eyes all focused on his screen simultaneously. A neat trick that still unnerved me after 3 years of partnership. Oh no. Oh, that is bad. That is very, very bad. He is going to be crushed. His fragile bone structure cannot possibly. We both watched the monitor, waiting for the inevitable collapse. Humans were supposed to be delicate, right? Their bones were practically hollow, according to the reports. 5 times normal gravity should have flattened him like a Plexian pancake the moment he crossed the threshold. Trevor stumbled slightly as he entered the section. See? There it was. The beginning of the end. He was going down, and we were going to have to file approximately 900 incident reports, and Command was going to have our hides mounted on the wall as a warning to future security officers who deleted safety protocols. But Trevor did not collapse. He steadied himself, rolled his shoulders in a circular motion that made several vertebrae crack audibly over the audio feed, and then, I swear on my ancestors, he smiled. Huh, Trevor said to himself, his voice picking up clearly on the monitors. Gravity feels a bit off in here. Good workout opportunity though. And then he started jogging. Not walking. Not crawling. Not desperately clawing his way back to normal gravity while his skeleton compressed into powder. Jogging. At a steady pace. His feet hitting the deck plating with rhythmic thuds that registered on the seismic sensors. I stared at the monitor. Vento stared at the monitor. The 3 other security officers who had wandered over to watch the gruesome human death also stared at the monitor. Is he? Vento started. Yes, I said. But he should not be. I know. The gravity is 5 times. I know. Trevor jogged past camera 3, then camera 4. He was not even breathing hard. Well, he was breathing harder than normal, obviously. But he was not dying. His face had turned slightly red, and there was moisture forming on his forehead. But he just kept going, 1 foot in front of the other, arms pumping at his sides, like this was completely normal. Should we stop him? One of the other officers asked. That snapped me out of my stupor. Yes. Sound the alarm. Get medical down here. That human is going to kill himself, and I am not explaining this to command. I slammed my manipulator down on the emergency response button so hard the console cracked. Alarms blared throughout the eastern wing, the kind of ear-splitting wail reserved for hull breaches, radiation leaks, and apparently suicidal humans jogging in extreme gravity. Medical emergency. Section 12. We have a human in 5 times standard gravity. Repeat, human in critical danger. Section 12. I was shouting into the comm system, probably loud enough that half the station heard me without the benefit of speakers. Vento was already pulling up the emergency medical roster. Dr. Plinks is on duty, dispatching her team now. Estimated arrival time 4 minutes. 4 minutes. This human would be a puddle of organic matter in 4 minutes. My comm unit exploded with chatter. First the medical team confirming deployment. Then maintenance asking what idiot had entered Section 12 without checking the gravity warnings. Then, and this was the worst part, Station Commander Thorvus himself. Krell, this is Thorvus. Report. Now. Commander Thorvus was a Vaxillian, which meant he stood nearly 3 meters tall, had mandibles that could cut through hull plating, and possessed exactly zero tolerance for nonsense. I had spent 11 cycles avoiding his direct attention. That streak just ended spectacularly. Commander, we have a human who entered Section 12 approximately 90 seconds ago. He is currently, jogging, sir. There was a long pause. Repeat that last part, Officer Krell. The human is jogging, sir, in 5 times standard gravity. He has not collapsed yet. Another pause, longer this time. I could practically hear the commander's mandibles grinding together. Get him out of there, immediately, and open a comm channel to him. If he is still conscious, we need to tell him to stop moving before his circulatory system fails. Right, comm channel. I should have thought of that. I frantically pulled up Trevor's personal comm code and activated the link. Attention human scientist Trevor Kane. This is station security. You are in a high gravity zone. Please stop all movement and remain stationary. Medical assistance is on the way. Repeat, stop moving immediately. There was a crackling sound. Then Trevor's voice came through, slightly breathless but altogether too cheerful for someone who should be dying. Oh, hey there. Yeah, I noticed the gravity was a bit higher in this section. No worries though. It is actually kind of nice. Been sitting at a desk all morning, so this is a good chance to get my heart rate up. Do you guys have a gym on this station? 'Cause if the equipment can handle this kind of gravity, I would love to. Stop jogging. I may have screamed that part. What? Why, I am just doing a light warm-up. Seriously, this is nothing. Back on Earth I do 10 kilometers every morning before breakfast. Well, okay, 5 times gravity is a bit much for a full run, but a few laps around this section should be fine. Hey, how big is this area anyway? The signage is a bit confusing. Bento had gone completely still, all 4 eyes fixed on the monitor in what I recognized as existential shock. On screen, Trevor waved at camera 5 as he jogged past, apparently having spotted the security lens. He thinks this is light exercise, Vento whispered. Krell, he thinks 5 times gravity is light exercise. Medical team is 1 minute out, another officer reported, her voice shaking. Commander Thorvus is on his way to the monitoring room. Oh, fantastic. Just fantastic. On the monitor, Trevor kept jogging, his pace steady and even. He had started humming something. A human song, probably, because apparently having enough oxygen to hum while jogging in crushing gravity was just a normal Tuesday for these lunatics. Dr. Plinks and her team arrived in full exosuits, the kind we use for extreme environment rescues. Each suit was powered by triple redundant servo systems designed to help the wearer move in up to 6 times standard gravity. They looked like armored behemoths as they assembled at the Section 12 entrance, running final checks on their equipment. Remember, Dr. Plinks was saying over the comm, her voice tight with professional concern. The human will likely be unconscious. His bones may have already fractured. We extract him as gently as possible and get him to medical. No sudden movements. I watched on the monitor as the medical team crossed the threshold into Section 12. The moment they entered the high-gravity zone, their movements became sluggish, labored. Even with the exosuits, they were fighting against 5 times their normal weight. Each step looked like it required monumental effort. Dr. Plinks, a Quilarian with 6 limbs and usually graceful movements, was moving like she was wading through construction foam. Visual on the human, she reported, her breathing already heavy. Wait, he is still upright. How is he still upright? Trevor had stopped jogging and was now staring at the medical team with obvious confusion. Oh, hello. Are you folks okay? Those suits look really heavy. Do you need some help? Do we need help? Dr. Plinks repeated, her voice climbing an octave. Sir, you are the one in mortal danger. Please, hold still. We are here to rescue you. Trevor tilted his head, which should have been impossible given that his neck was supporting 5 times the normal weight of his skull. Rescue me? From what? The gravity? Yeah, it is a bit high, but I am fine. Really, you guys look like you are struggling though. Seriously, do you need a hand? And then, because the universe apparently had a sense of humor, Trevor jogged over to the medical team. He actually jogged toward them, closing the distance in seconds while they were still laboriously taking their 3rd steps into the section. Everyone stay calm, Dr. Plink said, though she sounded anything but calm herself. I am going to scan him. Maybe he is running on adrenaline and does not realize he is injured. She raised her medical scanner with great effort, the device weighing 5 times its normal weight in her grip. The scanner beeped. Word. And then beeped again in what I can only describe as mechanical confusion. That cannot be right, Dr. Plinks muttered. She shook the scanner. Scanned Trevor again. Got the same results. This is impossible. What is it, doctor? I asked over the comm, though I was not sure I wanted to know. His bone density, she said slowly, his reading is comparable to reinforced composite materials. His muscle tissue is compressing and releasing under the gravity load like hydraulic pistons, and his cardiovascular system, by the ancestors, his heart is pumping with enough force to supply blood to his brain against 5 times normal pressure. The organ should have ruptured by now. I work out, Trevor offered helpfully. And humans kind of evolved in high gravity, so we are built pretty sturdy. Is this about the safety protocols? Because I did read the station manual, but it did not say anything about gravity zones. Also, are you sure you guys are okay? Your breathing sounds really labored. One of the medical technicians, a young Flenxian on his first emergency call, made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a sob. He is asking if we are okay. We are in powered exosuits, and he is asking if we need medical attention. Dr. Plinks attempted to move closer to Trevor, but her exosuit servo whined in protest. Sir, Trevor, I need you to listen very carefully. You need to exit this section immediately. The gravity here is 5 times galactic standard. It is not safe for you. Trevor looked around the section, then back at the struggling medical team. Okay, sure, but do you guys want to head out first? Because no offense, but you look like you are about to collapse, and I am pretty sure I can move faster if you need me to get help or something. He was right. He absolutely could move faster. In fact, he could probably carry all 5 of them out while jogging. And that thought was somehow more terrifying than anything else that had happened in the last 5 minutes. Getting Trevor out of Section 12 was easier than getting the medical team out. He walked ahead at a casual pace while the exo-suited rescue team labored behind him, servo motors whining with every step. By the time everyone reached normal gravity, Dr. Plinks looked like she had aged several cycles, and Trevor looked like he had enjoyed a pleasant stroll. The medical bay examination room was packed. Dr. Plinks, her entire staff, Commander Thorvas, Vento, myself, and about 6 other personnel who had found excuses to be there. We all stared at Trevor like he was some kind of physics-defying anomaly, which, to be fair, he was. Trevor sat on the examination table, legs dangling off the edge, looking confused by all the attention. So, am I in trouble? Because I really did not see any warning signs. I thought maybe it was just a different section with adjustable gravity for, I do not know, equipment testing or something. Dr. Plinks had her scanner out again, running it over Trevor for the 5th time. You thought the gravity felt heavy? Well, yeah, Trevor said, shrugging. It was noticeable. Like my legs felt a bit heavier than normal and my breathing was elevated. But nothing too bad. Kind of like jogging uphill back home, you know? Jogging uphill, Commander Thorvas repeated slowly, his mandibles clicking together in a way that suggested he was 2 seconds from either laughing or having a breakdown. You compared 5 times standard gravity to jogging uphill. I mean, yeah, it was not that different, honestly. A good workout, but not anything extreme. Trevor paused, looking at all of us. Wait, is 5 times standard gravity supposed to be dangerous? Because Earth is like, what, 9.8 meters per second squared? That is pretty close to galactic standard, right? So 5 times that is only about 50 meters per second squared. That is high, sure, but not crush your bones high. Vento made a choking sound. Only 50 meters per second squared. He said only. What do you normally do for exercise, Trevor? Dr. Plinks asked, her voice very carefully controlled. On Earth, I mean. Walk me through a typical workout routine. Trevor brightened up, apparently happy to discuss something familiar. Oh, sure. So, I usually wake up around 6 in the morning and do a 10-kilometer run. Nothing crazy, just to get the blood flowing. Takes me about 45 minutes. Then I hit the gym for some weight training, bench press, squats, deadlifts, the usual. I am not a serious lifter or anything, just enough to stay healthy, maybe an hour of that. Then I cool down with some calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, that kind of thing. The room had gone completely silent. You do this every day? Dr. Plinks asked weakly. Well, most days. I take Sundays off. Recovery is important, you know? Oh, and sometimes I mix it up with rock climbing or swimming. Depends on the weather. Rock climbing, I said, finding my voice finally. You climb rocks. For fun. In Earth gravity. Yeah. It is a great full-body workout. You should try it sometime. Oh wait, would that even work for you guys? I guess your species might not have the grip strength. No offense. No offense. This human just casually mentioned that his idea of a light warm-up jog was something that would hospitalize most species in the galaxy, and he was worried about offending us regarding grip strength. Commander Thorvus rubbed his face with one large manipulator. Dr. Plinks, what exactly are human baseline physical capabilities? Dr. Plinks pulled up a data file on her console, scanned through it, and then closed it again. According to the xenobiology database, humans evolved as pursuit predators on a high-gravity world. With elevated oxygen levels and extreme environmental variability, they have disproportionate endurance, regenerative capabilities, and structural resilience compared to most spacefaring species. In short, Commander, they are terrifying. I prefer the term adaptable, Trevor offered cheerfully. Commander Thorvus dismissed Trevor with strict instructions to stay in clearly marked standard gravity zones, which Trevor agreed to with the kind of cheerful obedience that somehow made everything worse. Once the human left, the commander turned to Vento and me with an expression that suggested our careers were about to get very interesting. Formal incident report, he said flatly. Everything. I want every detail documented, time-stamped and filed with station administration within the hour. I groaned internally but pulled up the reporting interface. Sir, technically speaking, no actual harm occurred. The human is fine. Better than fine, actually. Should this really be classified as an incident? Krull, a human just jogged in 5 times standard gravity and then offered to help the medical team in exosuits. If that does not qualify as an incident, I do not know what does. Commander Thorvus settled his bulk into a reinforced chair that creaked under his weight. The question we need to answer is whether the human was the safety hazard or if our station is insufficiently prepared for human occupancy. Vento looked up from his console where he was reviewing security footage. Commander, I think we need to seriously consider the second option. I have been pulling records from the past 2 days since the humans arrived. There have been, several other incidents. Define several, Thorvus said. 17. Vento pulled up a list. The human named Dr. Rachel Okoye accidentally broke 3 door panels because she, quote, pulled too hard when they did not open fast enough. Another human, Jason Reeves, sent 4 Plexians to medical after what he described as friendly shoulder pats. And there was an incident in the cafeteria where a human named Lisa Park bit through a standard eating utensil because, and I quote again, the food was tougher than expected. I stared at the list. They have been here for 2 days. How did we not know about this? The incidents were filed under equipment malfunction and minor medical events, Vento explained. Nobody connected them to human baseline strength until now. Commander Thorvus was pulling up files on his own console, his mandibles working in agitation. Earth's planetary classification. Let me see. Class 9 gravity world, check. Oxygen-rich atmosphere with partial pressure sufficient to support combustion, check. Extreme axial tilt, causing severe seasonal variation, check. Tectonic activity, active weather systems including electrical storms, temperature ranges from -80 to +50 Celsius, depending on location. He trailed off, scrolling further. This planet is classified as a death world. How did humans become the dominant species on a death world? By being more dangerous than everything else on it apparently, I muttered, typing up my section of the report. Vento had pulled up additional data. Commander, there is a note here in the xenobiology files. It says that humans are one of only 3 known sapient species that evolved as pursuit predators. The other 2 are extinct. Humans are also the only known species that regularly consumes chemical toxins for recreational purposes, including ethanol, caffeine, and capsaicin. They poison themselves for fun, I asked. Apparently it makes them feel good, Vento said, his voice hollow. There is also a note that humans have a saying, if it does not kill me, it makes me stronger. They treat adversity as exercise, Krell. They literally get stronger from things that almost kill them. Commander Thorvus closed his data files and looked at both of us. New station policy. Effective immediately. All sections will be clearly marked with gravity ratings and human accessibility warnings. Structural elements will be reinforced in human-occupied areas, and we are filing a formal safety complaint with the Galactic Station Standards Committee. A complaint about what exactly? I asked, though I had a sinking feeling I knew. That current multi-species station safety standards are inadequate for human occupation. Either we need stronger stations, or we need to keep humans away from anything fragile, which, based on today's events, appears to be everything. The Galactic Station Safety Committee convened 3 days later in Conference Room Alpha, which had been hastily reinforced after Lisa Park leaned against a wall and left a hand-shaped dent in the panel. 6 species were represented, each looking more uncomfortable than the last as they reviewed the incident reports. Chairman Velk, a centaurian with crystalline skin that refracted light in unsettling ways, called the meeting to order. We are here to discuss the human integration issue. Commander Thorvus has filed a formal complaint citing inadequate safety standards. Before we proceed with policy discussions, we have invited one of the humans to provide context on their species' baseline capabilities. Trevor Kane, please come forward. Trevor entered carrying a datapad and wearing what appeared to be exercise clothing. This immediately set off alarm bells in my head. I was sitting in the back row with Vento, both of us having been called as witnesses. Thanks for having me, Trevor said, setting up a holo display. So, I understand there is some concern about human physical capabilities. I put together a presentation showing normal human activities. Nothing extreme, just everyday stuff most people back home can do. The first holo image showed a human female running. This is a marathon. It is a running race covering 42.2 kilometers. Humans do this recreationally. The current record is just over 2 hours, which means the runner maintained an average pace of about 20 kilometers per hour for 2 straight hours. Representative Kixel, a floating gas-based life form, actually rippled with distress. 2 hours of continuous running, without rest. That would kill most species from cardiac failure. Oh, we can go way longer than that, Trevor said cheerfully, pulling up another image. Ultramarathons can be 100 kilometers or more. Some humans run for 24 hours straight. It is called endurance running, and it is kind of our thing. We evolved to chase prey animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. The committee members exchanged horrified looks. Trevor continued, oblivious to the growing terror in the room. Now regarding the strength issue, this is a video of a standard human gym. The holo display showed humans lifting metal bars with weights attached. That person there is bench pressing 140 kilograms. She is not a professional athlete, just someone who works out regularly. The human strength record for deadlift is over 500 kilograms. 500, Chairman Velk repeated faintly. That is more than a cargo loading mech. Yeah, humans are pretty strong. It is the muscle density thing. Oh, and here is rock climbing. Like I mentioned before, the display showed a human clinging to a vertical rock face. This requires a grip strength of about 40 to 50 kilograms per hand. Most humans can achieve this with training. Representative Thonix Abravali with 4 arms raised 1 limb weekly. That grip strength would allow a human to crush most of our communication devices, or hypothetically limbs. I mean, yeah, if we squeezed hard, Trevor admitted, but we have pretty good control. We are not just going around crushing things. Usually, Vento whispered next to me. Trevor switched slides again. Now, this is important for the station safety discussion. Human reaction times. We can process visual information and react in about 0.25 seconds. Our hand-eye coordination allows us to catch objects moving at high speeds, which is why we have sports like baseball where we hit small projectiles traveling at 40 meters per second with wooden sticks. The committee was silent. Representative Kixel had stopped rippling entirely, which I was pretty sure meant they were in shock. For fun, Chairman Velk said weakly. You hit high-speed projectiles with sticks for fun. Well, yeah. It is a game. Pretty popular back home. Trevor smiled. Oh, and I brought some equipment to demonstrate human light exercise if that would be helpful. I have some resistance bands, a jump rope and some hand weights. Just 5 kilograms each. Nothing crazy. No, at least 4 committee members shouted simultaneously. Chairman Velk held up a crystalline hand. I think we have seen enough, thank you, Trevor. We will, take this information under advisement. As Trevor gathered his materials and left, looking slightly disappointed that he did not get to demonstrate, the committee sat in stunned silence. Finally, Representative Kixel spoke. I move that we immediately implement human-specific safety warnings throughout all multi-species facilities. Seconded, said every other representative in unison. All in favor? Chairman Velk asked. Every manipulator, limb and energy tendril in the room went up. Motion carries. Let us never speak of the demonstration that almost happened. The changes happened fast. Within a week, Celestial Harmony Research Station looked like it had been invaded by a paranoid safety inspector with unlimited budget and a fear of humans. Every section now had gravity ratings displayed in 17 different languages, including 3 that used color-based communication and 1 that was just sophisticated scent markers. Doorways were reinforced with composite materials typically reserved for hull plating. Handrails were replaced with versions that could withstand a human grip without deforming. And most dramatically, an entire wing of the station was designated as a human activity zone, complete with warning signs that basically translated to enter at your own risk, squishy species. The signs were Vento's personal favorite. They featured a pictogram of a human silhouette surrounded by symbols indicating high-impact forces, elevated gravity tolerance and extreme grip strength. In standard Galactic they read, Caution, human activities species with standard durability should exercise extreme caution. Protective equipment recommended. It makes them sound like natural disasters, Vento observed as we installed the 47th sign that morning. If the shoe fits, I muttered, securing the mounting bracket with extra reinforcement bolts. The human population on the station had grown to 12, and they were all universally baffled by the new protocols. Dr. Rachel Okoye had spent 20 minutes arguing with me about why she needed to file a movement plan before going to the cafeteria. Jason Reeves kept apologizing for existing every time he walked past other species in the corridors, and Lisa Park had started carrying around a padded glove specifically for opening doors, which she claimed was ridiculous overkill. Trevor, meanwhile, had become something of a station celebrity. Other species would stop him in the halls asking questions about human capabilities with the kind of morbid fascination usually reserved for studying black holes or temporal anomalies. He handled it with good humor, though I noticed he had started downplaying his morning runs as just a quick walk to avoid causing panic. I found him one afternoon in the newly designated human gym, which was really just a reinforced cargo bay with some equipment bolted to the floor. He was doing pull-ups on a bar that had been rated for small vehicle suspension. Hey Krell, he said, dropping down after his 20th repetition without even breathing hard. Got a question for you. As long as it is not about testing higher gravity zones, I said. He laughed. No, I learned my lesson. I was just curious. With all these new safety protocols about humans being dangerous, does that mean you guys think Earth is like super dangerous? Because honestly it is pretty tame compared to some places in the galaxy I have read about. I stared at him. Trevor, your planet has weather systems that can level cities, tectonic activity that reshapes continents, predators that can kill humans despite your ridiculous durability. How is that tame? Well, yeah, but we have warning systems for the weather, building codes for earthquakes, and most of the really dangerous predators are extinct or endangered now because, humans, he shrugged. Besides, Earth does not have things like radiation storms or methane oceans or those planets where it rains sulfuric acid. Now those places are dangerous. Those planets are uninhabited death worlds, Vento pointed out, having wandered in during the conversation. They are dangerous specifically because no one can live there. Right, but imagine if someone did, Trevor said enthusiastically. What kind of crazy adaptations would they need? Compared to that, humans are basically normal. Vento and I looked at each other. This was the perspective problem in a nutshell. Humans measured danger against theoretical nightmare scenarios, so their actual nightmare reality seemed reasonable to them. Trevor, I said slowly, What do humans consider actually dangerous? He thought about it for a moment. I mean really dangerous. Probably stuff like hard vacuum lethal radiation, extreme temperatures beyond our survival range. You know, things that can actually kill us quickly. Oh, and administrative paperwork. That stuff is brutal. Paperwork, I repeated. Yeah, have you ever had to file a tax return? Terrifying. And that was when I truly understood the human problem. They had been shaped by a world so hostile that they measured danger on a scale that started at immediately lethal and went up from there. Everything else was just inconvenient. 2 months later, I was in the monitoring room when an alert came through. Hull breach in Section 7, caused by a micrometeorite impact. Atmosphere venting, pressure dropping fast. Emergency crews were scrambling. Then Trevor's voice came over the comm. Hey, security, I am in Section 7. I can see the breach. Give me a second. I will just plug it with the emergency seal kit until the repair team gets here. Trevor, get out of there, I shouted. The pressure. Yeah, I know. Holding my breath. Done this before in training. No big deal. On the monitor, I watched Trevor calmly cross the depressurizing section, slap an emergency patch over the breach, and then walk back to the sealed door, all in about 90 seconds. When he emerged into normal atmosphere, he took a deep breath and gave the camera a thumbs up. All good. You guys might want to check the hull integrity sensors in that area though. They did not catch that impact until after the breach. Vento looked at me. I looked at Vento. I am adding a new line to the safety protocols, I said, which is, in the event of catastrophic emergency, locate nearest human. They will probably fix it before emergency services arrive. Vento considered this. That is actually solid advice. And really, what more was there to say? Humans had been on the station for 3 months and they had gone from being classified as fragile curiosities to being our unofficial emergency response team. Not because we asked them to, but because apparently, life-threatening station failures were just light exercise compared to a Tuesday morning on Earth. I never did delete those safety protocols again. Turned out, they were just warning us about the wrong things.